Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chew the Fat, where recently I've been doing two films and comparing them and contrasting them. But tonight, I just want to talk about one, and that is The Northern Limit Line. I've been wanting to chat about this film for a long time, actually, ever since I saw it, but I didn't have a YouTube channel then. I do now. I'll get into the history of how this film came to my attention in a little bit. Desert Phoenix, man, good to see you. Let me know if you've seen this film, mate, because, no. I know you don't like to watch films about conflict, so you probably haven't. All right, well, I've got a couple of guests coming in with me tonight. One British and one American, as it should be, 50-50. So, first of all, I've got Jay the Gooch Muncher, Diabolical Souls. How are you?
Good. And actually, I'm Canadian. So.
Oh, yeah, I know. I forgot. Testing.
How are you?
Because you always
Yeah.
your accent.
Yeah.
I did forget about that. I was referring to Enzo if he makes it later.
Yes.
That's right. All three of the countries represented.
Yes. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. I'm still coughing a little bit. So if I go off camera, probably means I'm either having a coughing fit, or because I'm drinking so much liquid, it might be one of my 20 wee-wees during the stream. In which case, I'll expect you and my other guest, Tomby, to fill in.
Good evening to you both. How are you doing?
Good.
Not too bad.
Good to see you. Good to see you since the before Christmas party, the Christmas quiz.
Christmas quiz,
yes.
Mate.
Yes, that's right.
It was a fantastic day.
I'm definitely going to do one every year. It depends how busy I am. I might do a summer one as well, but we'll see. We'll see how busy I am nearer the time. So we're going to be talking about Northern Limit Line. Sadly, this is the biggest poster I seem to be able to find for film. This is based on a true story of what was known as the Second Battle of Yeonpyeong, I think is the name of the island, but don't take that as verbatim that's how you pronounce it, because my South Korean is quite rusty.
Yeonpyeong.
The film is kind of prefixed the Forgotten Battle. Northern Limit. I did not even know anything about this until I saw this film. I didn't even know this conflict had taken place. I mean, obviously, there's always stuff about North and South Korea rattling sabers and things in the news, but I did not hear anything about this at all. Now, my relationship with this film goes back to 2015, the year it was released. I was in France at the Cannes Film Festival, and there you go round into the exhibitors hall in Cannes, and you have huge banners and posters and billboards next to little booths of all the different film distributors, as well as some film production companies. Like Millennium always has a massive booth, a booth with a green room they have. And one company was marketing this, and it had a huge cardboard cutout of the ship taking up like the entire booth. When I first saw it, because of the angle of the photograph of the ship, you couldn't see the guns.
Yeah.
I thought it was a World War II movie. And I was like, what's this? I've never heard of this before. Didn't even know what the Northern Limit Line was. And then I went and asked them, and the guy said to me the film was just being finished, and he told me a little bit about it. So I went on to Google and found out true story. And yeah, very much a forgotten battle. This film is really the labor of one individual. He's the man who led the charge, shall we say. Director Kim Hak Soon, who I spoke with about. I saw the film for the first time, I think, in 2017. So I spoke to him back then. I tracked him down. I think it was on Facebook. But unfortunately, I can't go back that far with my chats. Doesn't seem to go back as far as that. So I think they've been deleted. But we had a really nice conversation about the film. And that was when he told me he'd been developing the film, I think, since something like 2006. And the funding, they got the funding, and the funding fell through about 4 times. So then they had half the money. And so I think some big investor pulled out, and the film was going to collapse. They'd already started shooting, I think. And they decided to do a crowdfunding campaign because the South Korean football team got onto social media and told everybody in their country to back the campaign. And they raised another $3 million. And that was how the film was completed. So there's a little bit of background for you. Neither of you had seen this before, is that right?
No, I didn't even know about this film. I didn't even know, like you, I didn't even know about this incident.
Tomby, had you seen it before?
Yeah, so I watched it first back in 2017. I got wind of it. Now, obviously,
It was on YouTube for a long time. There was a really good high-res copy of it on YouTube.
Yeah, it was you can still find that if you jump on a VPN and go over to the American YouTube.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is that I'm ex-military anyway, like quite a few of the guys that are in my stream. So the 2002 incident obviously had been one of the many incidents that not a lot of people were aware of, but it was actually following a very similar incident back in 1999. And I had actually joined the military back at that same time. Didn't know anything about the first incidents, but certainly the second incident that had happened from just from a naval background. I knew something had happened, but just never to the level that obviously it was depicted or shown in the film, and it gives it such realism to it, exactly what happened. So 2017 was the first time I'd watched it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing about the movie is that it was shot in 3D with 3D IMAX cameras.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to put the viewer into the sort of mists of the battle, if you like.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen it in 3D. I mean, I think it's about 2 hours 20 minutes running time, and the first hour and 130 minutes. So I would say the first 70 minutes of the movie are everything leading up to the battle, and then apart from some epitaphs, which we'll talk about later, the remaining sort of 40 minutes is the battle kind of in roughly about real time, I think. So for anyone who doesn't know what happened, the Northern Limit Line itself is the sort of demarcation between North and South in the western waters of Korea. In fact, I've got a little map of that somewhere. Yeah, here we go. I think this will suffice. So this is it, and it goes across several islands, and the incident took place near this island here. Just north of it. And the North Korean patrol boat. We've got Stupenzo here as well. Bring him in. Hello, sir.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's all right. Let me just. We're just talking about the incident itself, and then I'll come back to you in a sec. So the North Korean patrol boat had harassed them the previous day, done the same maneuver. It would cross the line, then turn back, and they would escort it out. And so what they did was they used that opportunity to work out exactly what the positioning of the ships would be, so that as it was being escorted out for the 5th time, it decided to open fire. And I think the first shot went straight into the bridge.
It went into the wheelhouse. Yeah, it went straight into the bridge.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was quite an unusual looking North Korean ship. I've got a picture of one here.
Just
This
a quick
is not-
question. Like,
Yeah.
how does China, like, they mentioned China, like, very, very briefly there, how China is kind of in the same border. Do they go any further west along that border, or is it that was just that one boat that went to that certain location? Because, like, I'm just curious.
The answer to that is I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
Good to see David Macy in the chat. And also, Desert Phoenix is not totally opposed to military films. I like Full Metal Jacket, Kelly's Heroes, and Good Morning Vietnam. Full Metal Jacket's well traumatizing, man. That's a very heavy movie. I don't think this is the boat from the incident, but it's very similar model to the one involved. And if you do look at that picture, you can see that is actually a tank turret. Again, that's on the front of that ship. So, yeah, they've basically fired a 120 mil shell or something, 90 mil shell straight into the wheelhouse, partially disabled the ship. Chaos ensued. The crew on board the ship in question were extremely young. This is the ship. This is the real one. And it's now a museum. It's a memorial museum. And you can, if you look at where the red holes are, those are all the bullet impacts on the vessel when it was shot up. And there are more photos of this to be found online. Did one of you grabbed a still, didn't you, of the northern boat as depicted in the film? Did you get one?
Yeah, I've sent it across to you in Twitter, mate. Twitter on DM.
All right.
Happy to be here with Tomby. I haven't seen you since trivia, man. How you been?
Mate, that was the first thing I said as soon as I got in. I was like, I haven't seen you guys since last year, since the trivia night.
Dude, we were talking about that on Dark Hours Starship Trooper stream about how like that was like because he's gonna do versus trivia thing like once 4 times a year and it's gonna be like an hour long and I'm like, oh, it's not gonna be like a 3.5 hour long trivia gauntlet like Lance did. That was awesome.
No, that's mine.
It was so close.
I know.
It was so close though. It was neck and neck all the way to the end.
No,
that's
it
what made
wasn't.
it great.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It came down to 1 point.
Yep.
Yeah, we were like a point behind for 3 straight hours, basically. Yeah. Like, so they could have called it at any time. We would have lost. But I want to rewatch it and see who won individually. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's a good idea,
mate. You should sit down and
thank you.
Go through the entire thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the praise. All the praise goes up there.
No.
That still you sent me is not opening on download. It's doing that thing where it's turned into a white folder. Can you just share it here?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Oh, actually, hang on. No, I can do that because I've managed to open it in Twitter. So let me do that. It's all right. I got it. There we go. So this is a depiction of the North vessel that attacked the South Korean vessel. Have we got any tank experts here? What turret is that from?
Oh, I am not a tank. I'm not a big military guy. So, yeah.
Tommy, any idea?
I've got absolutely no idea, mate, but I'm looking.
I'll see if it says anything. Yeah, so the South Korean attacked 2 South Korean PKM boats, they're called, which stands for Patrol Killer Medium Boats.
Mediums, yeah.
Yeah.
Cham series.
It opened fire with it. It was an 85 mil gun. I was close. I said 90 mil, scoring a direct hit on the wheelhouse, causing several casualties. South Korean ships had 40 and 20 mil guns against the North Koreans' 85 and 35 mil. 10 minutes later, 2 more PKMs and 2 corvettes reinforced the South Korean vessel and severely damaged the North Korean craft. Now heavily outnumbered and taking casualties, it withdrew. That was one of the things in the film. I mean, obviously, I think it's a pretty accurate depiction. But one of the things in the film that really got me was like, you know, once they started returning fire, that guy's got like a Gatling gun, one of those.
Yeah.
Aren't they? They're on the underside. They're on the sides of Black Hawks and things like that. I mean, the number of rounds on that raking the deck in a minute's time. You know, I was surprised. It was amazing how much these 2 little ships could take. There's quite a lot. And there were only 4 crew members on the South Korean ship who were not wounded. Everybody else was wounded on that vessel, which is, you know, when you think about it, it's quite brutal. So, Enzo, have you seen the film?
I watched it last night. Yes.
Ah, legend. I like a man who takes his.
Yeah, I watched it last night too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing to bear in mind with obviously the amount of damage that you see on the vessels, the amount of people that are injured, you have to be quite surprised that not everybody was injured, because these vessels are not massive. I mean, they're only like 30, 40 meters in length. And my time in the military, I served on mine hunters, and they were only 50. So there weren't massive ships. So there was on the UK vessels for mine hunting, the Sandown class. There's probably 40 people maximum on it. There's not many places to certainly to sit and to protect yourself. I mean, especially in this kind of incident where they are literally action stations.
Yeah,
you've got someone up in the wheelhouse. You've got the engine room running. You've got the guys returning fire. There's not many places to hit, and you can see where all of the hits are actually hitting the vessel.
I know,
and that's all down to the angle of attack that the North Korean boat had.
Yeah,
absolutely mental. Absolutely mental.
Yeah.
How thick is the shell on the outside? Like,
not believe it or not, it's not massive. It's probably 3-4 mil sheet steel.
85.
There's not much.
Millimeter. The biggest Korean shells were North Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see, you know, how many impact hits. It took.
I mean, even bullets are going to pierce some of the sides of where the ship's hull is. It's not that densely protected at all.
Did you? I mean, did you guys find yourselves like screaming at that bloody sniper? Really wanted him to get killed.
Well, that's where I was kind of like, I don't know how accurate that guy could actually shoot. Like, you're on the sea, you're in the waves.
Yeah. Every hit is lucky, you know, kind of.
Yeah, you're kind of just firing blind, pretty much. Like, you're not going to be precision dead shot. Like, unless
it's a mill pond, you're at the mercy of the waves.
No, it was a mill pond weather. It was you know, it was like Titanic weather. There was
icebergs flowing past.
Exactly. There was no waves to speak of. It was a completely calm day.
Yeah.
I think the day before had been a bit rough, but well, because it's the reason that's depicted is because it's known that the captain was killed by small arms, or the wound that killed him was small arms fire. So you know. I mean, I don't know how accurate the depiction is that it was a sniper that did it, but obviously there was a lot of men on deck with rifles, AK-74s or whatever. It looked like the South Koreans had some sort of variation of a Galil. I'm not sure if that was the weapon that they were using, but that's what it looked like to me. Let's just have a look at the stills on here and talk through the film a bit more. So, sort of the kind of storyline as such is that the role played by Lee Hun-woo, who's sitting on the right, young North Korean actor, very good. He's playing Petty Officer Third Class Park Dong-hook. He's basically the medic. And he's the new crew member at the beginning, and you follow him through a bit of training, bonding with the various other characters. And then just before the battle, the next new guy joins their crew. So by the time the battle begins, he's not the newbie on the ship here. He's one above, because you've got that kind of funny comical thing about he knows when to duck when the waves, when the water comes over, when they're steaming out to sea, and the new recruits never duck and they always get soaked. So this is all taking place in the backdrop of the 2002. Well, it was the World Cup, wasn't it?
So yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, World Cup. Yeah.
Do we know who won the World Cup that year?
I'm on it.
That would have been. Was it Italy? No, it wasn't Italy. Italy won in 2006. Before that, it would have been.
Looks like Brazil.
France. Oh, Brazil. Oh, okay.
Brazil. That's what.
Yeah, Germany versus Brazil. Brazil won 2-0.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Third place Turkey. Fourth place South Korea.
Also, third place Turkey beat South Korea. So, ouch.
Yeah, that's right. Because they're talking about the South Korea-Turkey match, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And I think the battle took place the same day, if I remember rightly. So I wonder if that was a deliberate tactic by the North, thinking the country would be focused on football. They were on high alert because they expected something. Rules of engagement apparently now have changed. What that means, I don't know. But the South Korean Navy are not allowed to fire unless fired upon. And that, unfortunately, is not good for them in this scenario because the North gets off the first shot. There's also the new captain who comes on board. Here he is, played by Kim Hak-Soon.
Yeah, there's a scene in here. Well, I'll wait till we get to it, but it that one got me.
Yeah,
the father. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Oh man. Yeah, we'll get to that. But he joins the ship. He's kind of determined to make his mark. He's putting them through practice drills, combat drills. Seems like a really competent guy. One of the things I really liked about the film was they all sat down to watch one of the football games, and then you kind of then went into the next day. But when it flashed back, you saw that the captain actually kind of chilled out and sat down with them, and sort of took part and bonded with the crew, and that was quite nice that they brought that back full circle at the end. I thought all the actors in this were pretty good. I mean, I know Eastern cinema has their acting style is a little bit different. So in passionate, emotional scenes, there tends to be a lot of screaming, But I've watched a lot of Asian cinema now, so I don't mind because I'm used to it, and I realise that their acting style is slightly different, just in the same way that if you watch a Bollywood movie, doesn't matter what it is, there's probably going to be a song in it, even if it's just on the closing titles. I watched. Did anyone see the one about the mining disaster that was on Netflix?
No.
I mean, it's
you lie.
No,
you say there's a music number in it.
Well, I was waiting for it to happen, right? And there's one about the Bhopal gas leak as well, which is actually not a bad movie. It's pretty good, and it's called The Railway Men. A friend of mine's in it, and it's about the men that use the trains to get people out. It's quite well done. It's a little bit over the top. Lots of kind of cuts to, introduction of main characters, and they're doing that.
It's only 4 hours long.
Walk into shot. No, it's not that long. But
Indians love
the Railwaymen.
I like the music though. I think that music's catchy.
Well, at the end of the, I think it was at the end of the Railwaymen, they didn't have a song in it, but as soon as it got to the closing titles, they had one of the main characters meeting up with his wife, and they do a song over the end credits, and I'm like, this is a true story about this gas disaster. Hundreds of people died, but it's a commercial thing, isn't it?
Just getting back to the
let's get back to
emotion to the emotional aspect of it, and like I just found out just recently that like the Japanese and the South Koreans, it's like a kind of a no to do any kind of emotional displays in public or any affection in public. Yeah. It's kind of frowned upon, so that's why they kind of play with that in the movies.
We'll talk about the ending in a bit.
Very reserved people.
So you've got the first sort of preamble, the first 70 minutes that leads up to the battle. Let's just hear people's thoughts on that. I guess it's almost the first 2/3 of the movie. Gooch Man, you can go first.
You mean like the first 2/3 of the movie? What were my thoughts
prior to the battle?
I really, really enjoyed the character development, the foreshadowing, the bonding. It was like it's kind of like a Full Metal Jacket when you look at it. Like these guys are kind of going through the trenches together, learning how to train together, how to develop this system under the guidance of their captain. I thought it was really well done, to be honest. And then you had the family and the newborn and everything that's brought into the show, like the other side to these guys, that they're not just soldiers, they're actually like families and fathers and the sons. Like that the mother part really got me too, where she's deaf and he's like texting and checking on his mother all the time and trying to do it any way possible, like through letters or through text, and you're not allowed to have a cell phone. So he always wants to be in contact with his mother to let her know that he's okay and hopefully she's doing okay. So like it was really well done.
This is the mother. This is the mother here in this shot.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was a great lead up. I was engaged and invested throughout the first 2/3 of the movie, and then it really took off from there too. So I thought it was a really well done movie. I was enjoying it. I thought the acting was great, to be honest.
Tomby, your thoughts on the first 2/3 before we get to the battle?
Yeah, I mean, echoing a lot of the points. The first 70 minutes gets you really heavily invested in each of their lives from various different perspectives, each of their reasons for why they do what they do and how they are, and especially for Park with the relationship with his mother. A really good way of explaining to the normal person all about the rigors of obviously service life, the kind of like the way that the bonding goes on, the camaraderie that naturally occurs when you're in the armed forces, the fact that you are there to do a job, there is a hierarchical approach to everything. You are told to do what you have to do. You have to jump, and they say how high. It is all leading up to what eventually is a 10-20 minutes of the film where it's a show of a battle between two nations, and let's face it, most of the armed forces is all about trying to be ready for anything that's going to happen. You're invested in these people, and when that eventually tips over, you are then immediately worried for every single person that's in that crew. You are invested. You know all about their lives. You've got a sense of who they are. You've got a sense of who they are within the crew itself. And the crew, you've got to understand the crew's its own organism. It starts to grow as its own organism, because you can soon see that as soon as some of the parts of that organism start to die off, the whole thing starts to suffer. And you've got these few people that are just, and obviously we'll go into the actual battle shortly, but certainly the first 70 minutes, I'm massively invested, invested, because that's my background. That's my background. Yeah. I've seen it from the other side. I've seen
the humanity, the humanity
it,
of it all. It was really really well.
It is good that they took that time, because I really think if we'd had sort of 20 minutes and then we're out at sea, even if we've then got another 30 minutes before the battle takes place, you know, when everyone's in a uniform, as Ridley Scott said when he was filming Black Hawk Down, characters really blend together. It's difficult to follow who's who. And I would suggest for a Western audience for this even more so. So, but there's such time given. There's four main characters, I think, that we follow.
Yeah.
For them, I mean, there are various, but we focus in particular on four: the captain, the medic, the chunky gunner.
Yep.
Who sort of operates the Gatling turret, and then there's the guy with the goggles, the guy with the glasses, who gets knocked into the sea in kind of the preamble. That happens.
I would say the guy with the shaky right hand.
Yeah.
I would say him, because he's the one that, you know, buys the ticket for him to go visit his family, his mother, and I would say, well, and I don't want to ruin the ending yet, but like, I would say he was probably a huge major role in that film. And for me, anyway, just the way everyone had respect for him, the way, even the one character that gave one of the leads there a hard time, he would just like talk about he would not punish me for some of the things I'd done. He would like let us off a lot of the times. He was a great leader. We all respected him, even though we do stupid stuff. Like, you kind of have this bonding all throughout the ship, and it's all because that one piece that was the glue.
Yeah, there's a character who's like the. I mean, I'm not familiar with all the naval rankings and things, but I think he's like the XO. And he's he gets injured fairly early on in the battle, and then you've also got the guy who I don't think is the same guy with the shaky hand. The guy with the shaky hand is not the guy who ties himself to the wheel, is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was.
No, yeah. That's why it was such a pivotal role. He was
correct.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I kind of got a bit confused there, because when his hand is shaking, somebody puts their hand on his hand and steadies him, and he gets relieved at one point. But that's earlier. That's before the battle. Yeah. So because I think he had the opportunity kind of not to be there, but ends up being there anyway.
He had 1 month before he was being transitioned to land.
Stepenza, your thoughts on the first 70 minutes or so?
It I got vibes of Hacksaw Ridge, because Hacksaw Ridge is one of these movies where, like, the same thing with this one. It comes off as almost kind of like hokey, like a Hallmark movie, but it like makes up for the fact that the final act of this movie is so bloody and like visceral. So you kind of appreciate that kind of like Hallmark movie quality, or Christian. If you like Hacksaw Ridge, especially, it feels like a Christian, like a like a what's that channel that used to show all that stuff? Just like a kind of made for TV kind of family film. That's why when the violence comes in at the second act or third act, it's like, oh, good. I'm glad that we kind of didn't really. The movie isn't so heavy, all the way through. Also, the other thing about all the camaraderie and the brotherly stuff about serving together, and all the just the cool shots of the ships just sailing around and stuff was like, dude, these are like real boats. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean the boat shots. Oh, bless you. Just had a super chat come in from Blue Collar Loser. Mate, I think there's 2 zeros missing off of that. Just bought this for $5, Lance. I'll watch it later. Film. Finishing the Bros. Is that Super Mario Bros? Oh no, the Brother's Son. Yeah, the Brother's Son, which you recommended. That's a good yeah, that's a good one. Well,
wrapping it up.
Dude, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it. We can discuss the film again briefly on the Nielsen ratings on Tuesday. So I'm gonna take a risk and play a short clip. It won't have any sound. But just this is actually on someone else's channel. They've got the battle. So I'm just gonna play. How many seconds can I get away with?
7.
Oh, yeah,
7. You checking?
Nope.
No, it's about a handful of seconds, and plus pausing here and there.
Well, this is like the moment that the first shell comes in.
The first shell comes in.
Yeah, and hits the wheelhouse.
Bam.
And mass chaos ensues. And then guns start blazing. It's amazing, actually. You're also like the time it takes for the captain to order them to return fire, because obviously everybody's in a state of shock. I suppose. A bit like the scene on Saving Private Ryan, where Tom Hanks is like got it ringing in his ears and all that. But you're kind of, as the audience, you're really like, fire back, and then I got very frustrated with the second boat, which seemed to take ages to turn and be able to bring his guns to bear, and then because of the angle, it was difficult for them to fire because their own ship was in the line of sight, and so it's a very tense. I can't remember how long that section of the film is, but maybe it's probably about 25-30 minutes in all. It's the first 20 minutes of that is really like, oh shit, and more people are getting wounded, more people are getting shot. The guy tries to man the radio, he gets shot, and but the helmsman guy, I mean, man, his bravery is something else, and then you sort of cut to, wasn't just the cannons that were firing, there was a lot of small arms fire. I'll show another.
Small arms.
Yeah, I'll show another bit. I mean, the North Korea, I just don't understand why they decided they needed to do this. This is great. Now that's a CGI ship right there. That shot.
True.
But it looks good, and because of the really swift editing, and I think a lot of the money that was raised was for all the post-production effects work, of which there's quite a bit. Clever editing, really sharp editing, very well cut together. So at no point was I looking at a shot and going, "Oh, that's CGI." It was more, "Oh, that shot's probably CGI, but it looks good." That's where I was at with it. Jay, what was your reaction to the battle kicking off?
Oh, I was upset because like the foreshadowing with the fisherman, and then the guy, they see him, like he watches him, sail by, and I was mad on it. Why didn't you just like do something right there and then? Like why? Like, and so when they were getting shot at, I was just like, yeah, this is one of those little slip ups that should never have happened, and then it just like intensifies. It just, you're just hoping that they can get back and get protected. So it was a lot. It was crazy sequence.
Tomby.
Yeah, I mean, exactly the same. The only thing is obviously it was added in there for effect more than anything. Obviously, the round that first comes in There was absolutely no way you would have seen this thing coming. This thing would have been traveling at such a speed it's past him. He would have heard it. But that being said, the lead up to it, you can always see the antagonistic nature of obviously the North Koreans, and having done something, been in a very similar situation when I was in the Gulf of Oman back in the second Gulf War. We had similar things with a series of vessels from a country that was across the water. I mean, it regularly happens. You don't ever expect it to go anything more than the usual, oh, we're going to drive our ships at you and try and provoke you into do something. But for the shots to ring in, and then it's the sheer panic, because you never expect it to really happen. You never really expect it to happen. Yeah, you can train all day for it, train to respond to it. But when it actually does, there's that initial, I would say there's a good 5 minutes in, no matter who you are scrambling to react to that point, for it to sink in and for the right people to start moving.
To be fair to the film, I think the scene where the round comes in and you've kind of got that third shot of it coming past, the film has gone into slow motion at that point. So that is a slow motion sequence. It's like the sound gets distorted. The guy's reacting like really slowly. And the idea is to, I guess, for dramatic effect, to
correct,
in slow motion to see the round coming in, and but obviously he would just hear it coming, you know.
Yep.
But the funny thing is,
and it's devastation after that.
We've got this sort of thing going on right now, except it's drones attacking ships.
Drones,
it's cowardly.
Nuts though. It's just, you know.
I just have a question, like, when the guy pulled down the blindfold to take a look at the ship, like, why didn't they do anything at that point? Because now that guy's breaking the rules that are implemented right there at that moment by the South Koreans, and he's not really following any orders, and he's like, you could see him looking around. So like, that's why I just is like, why do something? Like, do something. Like, you know, like, you've been there. I don't know. Like, if that was like you, for example, what would?
Well, there's a whole scene about the rules, isn't there? The rules of conflict.
Yeah.
So,
certainly the rules of engagement would be, and it's no different from the UK armed forces to the Americans. It's always, you don't fire on anyone until fired upon, kind of thing. So you've got the rules of engagement in the UK, but certainly when you're that close to an aggressor, you never put yourself in a position where they've just got instant barrels on you. You just never do it. It would never be in that position.
I thought the American policy was fire everything you've got at Brad Tillman and then check it's the enemy.
Just bomb the shit out of everything and then check for questions after. Look for questions after.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah. I mean, straight away, had there been a scenario where a ship is approaching in that perspective, British forces, especially being their two boats, they would have repositioned themselves straight away. You never leave yourself in that kind of open position.
This is an interior shot of the raised vessel. Again, all the impacts and the rounds that came through are all marked on the interior walls. I think that blood spot on the floor, I think that's supposed to indicate where a pool of blood was, I'm guessing, unless that's a round. That doesn't look like a round could have come from that angle, but
unless the hatch was up at the time.
Oh yeah, if the hatch was up, that's true. Because that's probably
if the hatch was up,
engine room.
Yeah, it'll go down to the engine bay.
Again, this is inside the ship. Somebody's been kind enough to do a video. Crazy. I just kind of, but it's I mean, this is quite incredible to see all of this, you know.
But a lot of that on the inside, you'll find many of the panels are really, really thin sheet steel. Others are just going to be nothing more than fiberglass, because they're small boats. You don't expect it to require that much protection or any form of armor plating whatsoever. You'll have some armor plating around any form of magazine areas and possibly around the engine bay areas, but you'll find very little anywhere else.
If I ever go to South Korea, I'm definitely going to this museum. It's got cool.
Yeah, it's in Seoul, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Indiana Jones-esque aeroplane out there in the background. It's a shot of the. I'm guessing, would this be the engine room, or is that the bridge? That's got to be the engine room, I reckon.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
I mean, you've got all the breakers there, top right, so it's probably engine room-esque.
It's not a big bridge, is it? It's pretty tight.
No, they're tiny. I mean, so on the Sandown class, which is 50 meters versus this 33, 34, you'll probably be able to get 10 people comfortably, 15 at a push. I would say you probably half that on this. Half of it.
Right. So, Enzo, sorry, we segued into other little things. Your thoughts on the battle scene?
Well, I liked how, well, I don't like it, but I mean, one thing you see in a lot of American movies is people get shot, they fall over, they die. You don't see people getting like maimed or like shot in the belly and like living for like a good long while, you know, which is what happens, you know, and it's brutal. Like it's a meat grinder, you know, I mean, and there's a lot of people like kicking and squirming and squeaming and all that stuff. It's just visceral. It was pretty hardcore. And like Tommy said, it's like a tiny boat. Yeah, I know it's not really a huge like battle freighter.
There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, exactly. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, basically.
Yep.
It's pretty brutal.
Clearly, if you're into your aerial forces, this museum is pretty cool because they've got a shitload of jets to the left there, parked up for people to go and see. So the battle kicks off, and as you say, it feels like somebody gets wounded in the battle every 30 seconds. Oh, we got Vex Electronica in the chat. Good to see
Vex, how you doing?
I had to do the Vex.
Had to do the Vex. Get that printed on a t-shirt. So that's merchandising. So, lots of people get wounded. I think 3 of the characters we've been following get wounded in the first couple of minutes. You know, it's pretty intense. There's a good making of video. In fact, there's a couple of them. I think they do various making of each one. It's a bit like the Lord of the Rings Blu-ray extras. You know, each making of bit covers a different aspect, and this particular one, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. This particular one covers the sea battle. Now, wait till you see this setup.
See this? SEA this?
Oh, yeah. See what you did there. Very good. I'm sure this stream's going to get ratio because I'm showing all this shit. But anyway, hey ho, you know, I don't care. So, I mean, this to me, obviously they had to do this for these kinds of sequences, and you can kind of tell that they did when you're watching it. But I mean, check this set out.
Yeah.
So this is I think this is the North Korean ship. Or no. Sorry.
That's the South Korean.
That's the South Korean because you can tell because of the M60. Yeah. So they clearly had the whole boat probably on like some sort of massive gimbal arrangement, as well as with water stuff, you know, spray and all that kind of thing. There's your director. Man, do you know what? That must be a nightmare of a language to learn. That looks like alien symbols and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could ever learn it. And this is what a shot looks like. Oh, so this is a good angle. Look at this. You can see the whole thing. That's really well done. Can you see? Look at the guy at the bottom on the right. He's actually firing what looks like a paintball gun. Yeah, that is a paintball gun. That's a Bud Orr paintball gun. See the tube sticking out the top.
Yeah, but look at the camera guy. Look at the camera guy in a
it's like
bag.
Gallagher.
Yeah,
the Gallagher show.
Yeah, he's in like a sort of Enzo masturbation cocoon.
But I do it wide. I do it in the open, brother. I do it wide out in the open. Doors open.
I was going to say there's no cocoon that can contain you.
Yeah, if anyone goes to watch this, if you go into the subtitles option, you can actually get it to auto translate to English.
Oh, nice. Okay. Very good. Well, I mean, I won't run any of it because we'll definitely get. But this is just really interesting to see how they did this. And obviously, they built a full-size replica of the ship, which they then proceeded, I imagine, to damage in exactly the same way. Now that I used to own 3 replica Galeals, and certainly they look very similar to this, but I don't recall it having the extra nozzle with the locked-in sight at the end there. So this is probably a South Korean variation. This is how they filmed the sequence where the water came in. I'm guessing this is in the same model inside, so it's probably a one self-contained set. So presumably they would have had a similar set for the North Koreans for their boat. It would be interesting to see that. Look at all the debris on the deck and shell casings. Oh yeah, that's the guy who gets his finger shot off. Yeah. I think he survives, doesn't he?
He's one of 4. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that starts bringing in the bodies down to the basement. To that other guy that was I don't know what his role was, but he seemed like a crew captain or something like that, down like where he was constantly picking on the protagonist of the movie there, that young kid, that 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Where he was hiding down in the bunks. You could see that one a mile away when you're watching the film. Like you knew that was gonna play out.
Yeah, that was the newbie, wasn't it? Who basically fled his post and just he was saying, "Come down and stay here with me," So this is the gunner. I forget his character name. Who meets a rather nasty demise. And you can really see the whole vessel there. I mean, I don't know whether I wonder whether they bought one off the Navy, or what do you reckon? That's probably a model, isn't it? Or it's probably built, I suppose, especially for the film.
Yeah, I would think it would be built.
Can't be the original. Yeah, that's a bit when he's trying to put that guy out that's on fire.
I gotta say, it's one of the better battle scenes I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of modern naval stuff.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Especially not an engagement at this kind of close quarters, because people don't get that close to have a fight like this. I mean, it's extremely well done. I'm glad I didn't see this before I watched the film, and sorry for anyone that might ruin the optical illusion. But
the director, sorry, Lance, the director, is this like his first film or major film, or is he
did 2 shorts, and basically. I don't know the full story, but he tried to get this film made. It's a bit like me with Pegasus Bridge. He tried to get this film made several times, and it didn't happen. And ultimately, it came to pass. I think they started prepping towards the end of 2013, going into 2014. It's his first and only major feature film. Damn. He did a bloody good job with it.
Mm-hmm.
especially for a first feature. I mean, so I'm curious to know if they must have had a replica of the North Korean ship, and I'm wondering if what they did was they filmed all this stuff first. They stripped down this model,
replate it.
Yeah, redesigned it, and then it was the North Korean one. I mean, that's probably what you would do, isn't it?
Yeah,
save money.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. Background noise has pink hands apparently. So
those are cow udders.
Might want to check with the doctor about that one. So yeah, and then there's a third segment on the making of, which is all about the veterans, and I think like obviously the guys that were actually there that survived came down to the set to watch it being filmed. I'm guessing one of them was probably a technical advisor, and I know a lot of the people in the movie met up with people that were actually there, and they also did a bit of training, as I understand it, for the film. Okay, so yeah, the action scene, big sequence for the movie. Lots of people get shot, some people get killed. As Enzo said, very few people die straight away, and that feels fairly truthful to the events. I think one person was killed instantly. So then we eventually, more of South Korea's forces turn up. The North retreats. The boat, the people on the boat are rescued before the boat sinks. The boat does actually sink. It actually sunk while it was being towed.
It was towed back. Yeah, it sunk on the way it went.
Yeah. Then we have our main character that we've followed, Petty Officer Third Class Park Dong-hook, is injured and he's in hospital with his mother, and he was in hospital for 81 days before finally succumbing to his wounds. So this is the background. Before we talk about the last 20 minutes of the film, Tissue's ready. This is the background to the film. After the initial investors backed out, it took 7 years to finish the production. So if it came out in 2015, damn, man, it started in 2008. So a third of the budget was raised through crowdfunding via donations from 7,000 individuals. They included 23 members of the South Korean football team, and Chung Moon-jun, the owner of Hyundai Heavy Industries Group and former president of the Korean Football Association, who donated 100 million squiggly sign, whatever the Korean currency is. Got a strange symbol. I don't know what it means. It was set to premiere on the 11th of June 2015, but was delayed over the concerns of the MERS outbreak.
Yeah, MRSA,
right.
Was it the bird flu at the time?
Bird flu, right? Okay. It was the most watched film in Korea in 2015, selling over 6,024,000 tickets. Won a couple of awards at presumably the Korean equivalent of the Oscars. One of which went to Lee Hung-woo for Best Rising Star. That's the actor who plays the young medic. And the director was nominated for Best Director but didn't get it. It was nominated for Best Film but didn't get it, which is a bit of a shame.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what the other contenders were, but I'm glad that the young actor got something. Yeah, the acting, as mentioned earlier, was very good. So then we get into the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Don't do it.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, so hands up if you shed a tear.
I was close, very, very close,
Yeah,
very,
close.
very close. yeah,
yeah, I was close.
You three are far too manly, man.
Mate,
I cry at other movies though.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what? I couldn't remember if I cried the first time I watched it because it was, quite a lot's happened since then. Far more traumatic things.
I'm more likely, so like when someone dies, I'm less likely to cry, but it's more like when when Rocky finally gets Adrian, like when he finally gets the girl at the end, that'll get me like a happy tear sometimes.
Well, I did cry, and the bit that made me cry was when they cut to the real footage of the funeral, and one of the relatives ran forward and started screaming, and I think it was the mother of the might have been the mother of the young guy, but probably not. He was probably still alive then because he was watching it in hospital, wasn't he? So it might have been the mother of the captain. And then also his father kind of fell to his knees, and that was real footage of the real people. And I was watching it, and I just felt these two big balls come rolling down my cheeks like that.
The end credits were rough too.
Yeah. And that reminded me that I did cry the first time I watched it. So I cried twice.
The part that almost got me too is the father hugging the suit, where he.
Yeah. Damn, that's.
I was just like, oh, okay, that's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I was just like, yep, let's keep it together, Jay. Let's keep watching. That was hit me right in the feels, like, because you saw the bond with his father, how much he actually wanted his son to not pursue this, but the son wanted to follow his father's footsteps and make him proud. And the writing for this is incredible. I gotta say, like, bravo, like it was really well done. That last 15-20 minutes is just a roller coaster of emotions.
It's also written by the director. So
it was written by him. Yeah,
he wrote and directed it.
But yeah, it's like as the credits are rolling and you can see each of the images with the date of birth and the date of death, and it's like, shit, there's another one, and then another one comes, and another one comes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's and it's. I mean, you're very invested in those characters, especially the medic and the captain. And then, when you read the historical reports, it says 4 people were killed, but that's because they didn't find the body of the 5th person until they raised the ship. And
hit me too. That hit me too when he tied his hand against
it,
and they found him, and they're like looking, like they're underwater, and they see the body still slumped over, tied to the what do you call it, the
that bit was whale. That bit was a little bit Hollywood, because his body would have been like ballooned and bloated. They bloat underwater, don't they? And
for sure,
he probably would have looked more like the body in Jaws. When the guy retrieves the shark tooth,
But it was a good touch. It was a nice touch, though. Like I mean, they hit you right in the feels, right? It was just.
Sorry, Enzo. I unintentionally had 2 big hands over your face, right?
The udders.
I was doing like a whole peekaboo behind the thing for a while there.
My apologies. It's I mean, you can see the real footage of that online. We don't know how many people were killed on the North Korean boat. But by the end of the film, it looked like nearly all of them. I mean, you couldn't see a moving body.
Yeah, I mean, do you think? I mean, those North Koreans, like, they're probably. Do you think they had it in mind that they were going on a suicide mission, right?
Well, according to a North Korean defector's statement in 2012, the North Korean patrol boat's crew members involved in the battle suffered extensive splinter injuries from South Korean devastator shells. The North Koreans were reportedly quarantined in a hospital in Pyongyang to hide the extent of the casualties suffered in battle. So I don't know. We don't know how many of them died, but I mean, they had 4 ships firing at them by the time they retreated. So that's quite a lot of weaponry. Yeah. So okay. So what would we give this movie out of 10? Gooch Muncher, you're first.
I would give this movie a good 8 tickle me gooches out of 10. It was really well written. The acting was solid. The action scenes were incredible. Like even the female,
she was good. Yeah,
she was like, even at the end, she's sitting there and she's just like in disbelief, and she's just trying to hold it together. Like, here's this soldier, you're right, like trying to keep her emotions in check, but all of them are just, I was invested into this movie. I didn't know what to think when, like, military movies nowadays are just they're kind of played out for me, like, over the years, because it's kind of the same thing done over and over again. But this one really got me watching, and even with the subtitles, I didn't care. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, probably 8.5 out of 10, I would say, for me.
This is the actress. She's in a different movie here, Lee Chung-ah, who played the female. She was like the second in command of the other ship, I think, or her senior officer was like group captain, admiral.
Yeah, that relationship was just really well done. Like her, pushing him and saying, "What are you doing? Like you're don't speak up like that. Just know your role." And then her like tackling him, "Why are you ignoring my texts?" Like that relationship, they built that up. Like everything they did in that movie had an emotional thought process to it. Like it grabbed your attention. You were invested in it. It was playful. It was you saw like I said, the humanity of these characters, like the gunner with his kid, like when he got the present from the captain, it was a soccer ball. Oh, we're going to put her in soccer anyways. And everyone was kind of happy. Like it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, 8.5.
Stupenzo.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid 7.5, especially compared to war movies, which normally aren't my cup of tea. I mean, I love them, but I just don't seek out to watch them, repeat viewings and such. But yeah, like all the emotional buildup, like I said, very it was like reminding me of Hacksaw Ridge and all this getting to know you stuff. I loved all the stuff with like the waves, not getting splashed with the waves, the new guy. Just little things like that. Like they're always talking about what the hell they're gonna eat. Crab noodles and stuff like that. It's like, I love all that stuff. And then like the idea of like, living on a boat with a group of dudes, just like y'all buddies,
bunch of
and
seamen.
then a bunch of seamen, exactly. And then a bunch of, and then some other seamen show up and I don't know, just ruin the party. It's not cool. But yeah, I like this movie a lot, and I was like rushed to watch it too because I had a lot to do last night and today, and I managed to squeeze it in last night before I fall asleep. And I didn't. I was like gonna watch it like laying down, and I was like, nah, I'll probably fall asleep if I did that. So I watched it sitting up right here, and it was a good watch. I'm glad I did that.
No, you've got pie charts and all sorts of things to design. And
yeah.
by the way, I should have been recording that video for my GoFundMe before this. I was supposed to go to Dickens' house to do it, but that has been delayed until tomorrow. So
no sweat.
You'll be getting that off me probably your late tomorrow afternoon. And then we've got to run around and put it together as potentially as fast as we can.
But yeah, I definitely like these random suggestions from Lance, movies I've never heard of. And it's just like, hell yeah, all right.
I'm really good at tracking down great films that people haven't seen. I mean, two other South Korean movies I highly recommend. One's called Brothers, which is I think it's set during the North-South Korean War. I might grab these at the end and we'll have a quick look at them. Okay, let's focus on this. But there's another one, follows two guys through World War II. I'll tell you about it in a sec. So Tomby, rating out of 10, sort of final thoughts.
Yeah, so final thoughts for me, I think from obviously the amount that was spent on the film, crowdfunding, the actual story itself, some of the stuff that the directors had to come across. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I particularly enjoyed, obviously, the lead up to the events, the time spent with the actual crew, time to bond with them, time to see what it's like, day in the life of a sailor, especially the hazing that can go on. Because it does happen, and you have a good laugh, and you do bond with these guys. I mean, me and 40 other people on board a mine hunter, we knew the ins and outs of everything between each other, and it's very quickly you kind of dispense with the ranks and privileges that come along with it. The captain's still the captain, but to be honest, you're actually on a more a much closer level, and this film certainly gets you there for the first 3/4 of the film. Then you go into the action sequences, which are very visceral, very in your face. It's slowed down in areas, it's sped up in others to amp up that anxiety that the audience will naturally have for each of the individuals. Now, like Jay said, war movies, and in fact, Stupenda said it as well. War movies these days tend to be dime a dozen, but it's very rare that you find a situation where someone's developed a film about a true event that absolutely 90% of the world has probably never even heard of, and it's a situation where it brings the information to the audience, puts it in a perspective that the audience can appreciate, and by the end of it, you are emotionally attached to everything that's gone on. So for me, 8 out of 10. Great one for the audience to watch. Yeah, highly recommended.
Right. I'll give it a extremely tickled, dripping wet gooch 9 out of 10. Just to elaborate on Gooch's rating system there. I'd give it, as a film overall, I'd give it 8, but I've got to give it the extra point because the film's got a $1 million grant from the Korean Arts Commission or whatever. And then they had to find the rest. So actually I was wrong. They didn't crowdfund 3 million, they crowdfunded 5. Wow. So that's 80% of the budget,
Crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that going in.
Also, to make a film of this standard with quite a large ensemble cast, $6 million. The Hollywood version of this for $6 million would be what's that company? It would be an asylum film.
Yeah,
and not as good. Or the Hollywood-esque version of this would be $400 million, and the captain would be played by Leonardo DiCaprio, on a $40 million salary or something. So it just goes to show, you can make an amazing film, and it's the mid-budget films that have disappeared from our cinemas, and they're the hardest ones to raise money for. People are shooting films for under $1 million now, because of digital technology and all the rest of it. Anything from 150K to $1 million, and they're banging films out. If you've seen that disastrous Knights of the Damned movie, you'll know one of the 150K efforts I'm talking about. But the mid-budget films, the films that cost sort of 5 to 30 million, they're just not making them anymore. And I don't understand why some of the studios don't say, okay, we're not going to make a superhero movie this year. We're going to look for 5 really good films with a budget for between 10 and 20 million. And we're going to load them up with actors that people know, but not the big names. Because the whole box office, I don't think as many people tend to go and see something now because so and so is in it. It's not the reason that we buy a cinema ticket. If I want to pay to see something on the big screen, I want a big screen experience. with that film. If I know the film is two people talking in a room, even if I want to see it, I probably will wait until it's out on streaming or whatever.
Well, look at The Godfather. They had Pacino. He was a no-name at that point. He was a stage actor, pretty much, like
with Pacino with
on The Godfather. Yeah, we need kind of those more. Like, I mean, they had Brando, of course, but Pacino stole the movie. Him and James Caan, really. Well, I mean, Brando's Brando, but they kind of stole the movie. So
yeah. I mean, because if you've watched The Offer,
great series,
fantastic. And a friend of mine was involved in producing that, Dexter Fletcher.
Okay.
Yeah, cool name.
Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, some Michelle Yeoh trailers. Oh, it's the brother son trailer. It just came on my IMDb. Yeah, they didn't want him. They didn't want him for that movie, did they?
No.
And it was a big fight to get him on board. Yeah, so can we have more films like this, please?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What I'm basically trying to say. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, I anyone who's vaguely interested in military history, nautical stuff, things of that nature, you're going to want to see this film. And I personally highly recommend it. I think my panel is in agreement. We all recommend it. Anything else to say about it, anyone?
I was cursing you. That's all. I was just like, damn, like why do you have to hit me with the feels in this movie? It's like, Lance, man. I was.
Yeah, we were all supposed to be friends, and you got punches.
Yeah. What's the next movie he's going to recommend?
Well, there is another little scene film. I wonder if any of you have seen it. I always find it gets me in the feels. I mean, listen, we're going to do Cocoon. That's coming up,
mate.
Cocoon is a film that I cry in two places every time I watch it. I cry when the alien dies, and I cry when Rose dies.
Yeah,
and
not me.
And when Rose dies,
Jay's seen it all.
Yeah,
I went to see that film with my dad, so all of my emotional connections to that film are from the experience of going to see
that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Ninja Turtles when they have the campfire scene and Splinter shows up, that actually gets the waterworks going for me. It's weird. It's a sad scene. Man. Also, About Schmidt, the end of About Schmidt when he looks at that little drawing and Doogu did. And he has that big smile. That gets me every time.
See, the one movie. See, I don't watch dog movies where the dog's going to die because that will get me.
Yeah.
Something for Joey is a great movie. It's based on a true story. That one can really get you emotionally, hit in the feels. But Rocky 2, when Adrian is, in bed and Stallone and Rocky's just not doing anything. And Mick is like, come on, we got to train. And then he just like, okay, if you want to do this, I'm with you. And then she wakes up. That gets you. Like that one, that got me. So I was just like, so.
Okay. And anything else?
Good movie.
All right. Well, I'm gonna before we wrap up, I'm gonna recommend a couple of other Korean films for you that you might not have seen. So,
well, I will say one criticism about this movie is
go on,
Alien 3 vibes, where everyone looks the same and they wear the same clothes, and I can't tell who's who, and they're all getting killed one by one.
I did mention that earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Well, I don't understand why they're wearing such dark clothes. Like, if they go overboard, how are they going to find them? I was just like,
well, they do have bright red, sort of, crimson red.
That's good because it'll attract sharks. Bright red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the black tip makos are coming.
Oh, the fish love that color.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It should be like bright yellow or something.
So if you enjoyed this if you enjoyed this film, The Brotherhood of War, great movie. Set during the Korean War. It's a really good film. It's got a pretty big budget. The action scenes are extremely visceral. And South Korea's made a few movies like this, and I'm going to mention a few others. There's a great little list of them on. So the Battle of Jangsari is another one. Unfortunately, the poster is in Weenie Vision. Now, guess who's in this film in order to sell it? Because what they started doing was they realized if we get an American name in to do a little
Megan
role,
Fox.
Megan Fox is in it. Yeah.
Wow.
Megan Fox.
I saw it down there on the right hand side, and I had to laugh. Jesus, Megan Fox.
How does she fit?
So the
She's
Korean
like the
Herald,
Ray Burr from Godzilla or whatever.
She brings a transformer with her.
I'm reporting live from US TV.
So they said that the film was good, however the plot was contrived. Fox's character spelled out the director's message through her dialogue. The film started out as Saving Private Ryan, but ended up along the lines of Pearl Harbor. So maybe that one's worth seeing, maybe it's not. I'll tell you some. I haven't seen that one. 71 Into the Fire. That's a great film. So that's a true story during the North-South Korean War, where 71 military students occupied an academy and refused to budge, and it was constantly attacked by the North Koreans, and it took them ages to get these students out there. It was combat academy, so they were like, you're not taking this building, and it's pretty it's a pretty difficult one. Again, a lot of people get killed. True story. Very good movie. So I recommend it. Has anyone seen where is it? Operation
I'm just gonna let you know I haven't seen any of these movies.
Right.
I haven't seen.
So
yeah.
Operation Chromite is about the battle for Incheon, which, if you know South Korean war history, was kind of a crucial turning point in the battle. And General MacArthur was involved in it. So what they did is they cleverly cast Liam Neeson as Douglas MacArthur in a role that he probably filmed in about 4 days, because it's all kind of command ops stuff. But your main characters are actually a group of South Korean soldiers who infiltrate the area that the invasion is going to take place, and they're dressed as North Korean soldiers, and you follow them and the various battles that they're involved in. It's a pretty good movie. I liked it. I think I've got it, actually. So it's somewhere in my collection. There's another one, and I can't remember the title. I think it might be The Front Line, but this says it was set in the Korean War, so this can't be the one that I'm thinking of. But there's one so there's a true story. I don't know if you've heard this, that when they took Omaha Beach, 2 of the people that they captured were Oriental in nature, and they found out when they interrogated these prisoners that they were South Koreans that had been captured in, well, it was all Korea then, that had been captured in the war against China. The Chinese conscripted them into forces in the war against Russia. They got captured. The Russians conscripted them and put them in the front lines of Russia against Germany. They got captured. The Germans conscripted them and stuck them in a bunker in Normandy. And that's the journey of how they got there. And apparently that's a true story, because one of them became a gold Olympic runner in like the 50s. And so that's a great movie, definitely worth watching. All right, so there's a little summary of some Korean film. I think we should do 71 Into the Fire at some point, so maybe we'll set that up later this year. So tomorrow I've got my Celebrate 3,000 subs. It's really annoying. I'm like sort of 10 subs above 3,000. At one point it was 20, then it was 12, then it was 17, then it went to 14. And it's like, right, I need to pull away from this now. That's 3,014. Just want to get away. I don't want to drop below 3K.
Well, I heard that YouTube does that. It takes away.
Yeah, they'll come back. They'll come back sometimes.
Yeah. So tomorrow night from 8:30 UK time, assuming I get my video done before then, I'm going to be on for a couple of hours. And basically anyone who's been on my channel before or anybody I've talked about collaborating with is welcome to drop in at some point. So
I'll be here. It'll be around the same time to tomorrow.
Starting a little bit earlier.
Okay.
I think Retro Nerd Girl is going to be
also thanks for I didn't notice that you pushed this back a little bit. I don't know if you did that because I was on Star Troopers or what, but I thought you were going to start at like 3 my time.
I did.
Okay, well,
he did.
Yep.
I'm also glad I made it because I was going to be like, I'm an hour late. I'm not going to come in.
I would have understood if you were knackered and kind of didn't want to talk about yet another movie.
No,
and I'm
I gotta lay bricks. It's like I gotta sit on my ass and talk about movies. I can do that,
Well, I got a lot of time for Dark Hour. Really nice guy, and I'm trying not to clash with his stuff. I tried not to clash with other people before, and they just didn't seem to give a shit and kept putting stuff up when I moved to another day, and then someone would put. I'm like, okay, right,
sign of respect.
So I just. You can't, Retro and me are really good friends. Sometimes our stuff clashes. She was still doing Journey to the Center of the Earth when I started this. It can't be helped. There's only so many Saturday nights and Sunday afternoons, isn't there? So
I mean, this is the thing. You're always going to clash with someone. And the thing is, we've all got mutual enough respect that if we're going to ever clash with someone, we say, make sure you pop across and have a look at their stream. And if they're still going afterwards, I normally steer my girls over to those people. You can't always help it. But that's the way it is.
Indeed. Well, look, this has been great. I love talking about films that people haven't seen. I love showing people films for the first time. That's always been a big thing with me ever since I ambushed everyone with a surprise trip to go and see Big Trouble in Little China, which was my first big movie birthday outing when I was old enough to organize them myself. And then, of course, I did the same thing with Die Hard, Robocop. These are all great birthday movies. So, all right. So, Mr. Gucci, what have you got coming up?
Busy week, actually. I will be jumping off of here and then getting ready to go on Saturday night Hypnosis with Hypnotic and the crew there. So come join us.
What are they doing tonight?
We'll be talking. He just sent me a list of what we're talking about. Echo. Gina Carano.
I'm not even going to watch that.
Neither am I. The Gina Carano.
This first episode, I was out.
Yeah, I'm not even bothering watching it.
What's going on with my Gina?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Gina Carano and how, like, the fan expo, the people are complaining they don't want her there, and it's like, just
hang on a minute. So this is a fan expo is presumably a big convention, right?
Yeah, I think there's like 20 cities that they go to.
Right.
Toronto, Edmonton, Calgary.
And I'm pretty sure this happened before. People were trying to get her
it's
kicked off. It didn't happen, and the queues for her were bigger than for anybody else.
It'll be massive. It'll be huge.
I mean,
for every one person that's complaining, there's 100 that are like, bring her on.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the thing. It's always a minority to complain.
Yeah. So I'll be on Saturday Night Hypnosis. Come check this out. Great show. A lot of good people there. Coaches are going to be on there. You met Coach the other night when I had him on for an interview there, Lance.
Oh I came on. I followed him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And then tomorrow I'm going to pop on your show for the 3000.
Great.
And then I'm going to be on Bagface and Andrew's 1 year channel.
Is that actually Andrew?
Actually, Andrew, yeah.
It's so funny. Whenever I see him, I just think of Andrew from Big Mouth.
Yeah.
And that's my vision of him in my
That
head.
was a good call.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, I will be on. Well, hopefully, I can be on because work is kind of picked up. But I will be on Pre-Kings on Matt Barr's channel, and then I'll be hopping on to Canoli's channel for review of Lord of the Rings for Monday night. Tuesday, I have Bone Bridger on my channel for an interview.
I'm supposed to be on that Lord of the Rings Monday, so I might see you there.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to have Bone Bridger come on the channel. Great guy, good friend. He has a huge channel. He's got some great videos. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing another stream. I'm probably going to have a few of my comic buddies, comic book friends, Joe Sontag, Sean Arendt, and maybe Kayla come on and talk about some comic books. Thursday, I will be on Vex's podcast, 8750. I don't know if she's still watching. I think that's correct. And then Friday, I'm supposed to be somewhere, and then Saturday again. So yeah, I've been bouncing around and doing my streams and bouncing around. So yeah.
Bloody hell, man! It's just as well you don't have a life. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
How would you?
Busy as hell.
How would you fit all these things in? Tomby, what are you going to be up to?
So for myself, it's a fairly quiet week this week. So my dog's just recovering from fairly major knee surgery. So I'm taking a little bit of time just to kind of like do some quiet gaming streams in the evenings, just to tide me over. I'm going to be doing some tech podcasts coming the week following with a few of the guys, just basically looking at some of the stuff that are going on in the tech world. Film-wise, nothing on the agenda certainly for the next 4 weeks, but hopefully at some point, myself and you, Lance, we're going to have a sit down and talk some 2000 AD.
2000 AD. That'll be an episode of Chew the Fat.
Yeah.
We're going to talk off. I mean, we could either do top 5 Judge Dredd stories, or we could do top 5 2000 AD characters. I don't mind really. I probably haven't. The problem is all my Dredd knowledge is all, Apocalypse War, Block War. What's the guy? Marlon Shakespeare. The guy that sprayed stuff everywhere. Chopper. And then the Judge Child, Cursed Earth, all of that kind of era. So prog 1 to 500 stories.
So 80s to 90s,
basically. 80s to 90s.
Yeah.
Up to 500. Yeah.
I've picked up a couple of Judge Dredd graphic novels. I'm thinking, where the bloody hell are they? And I picked them up especially for that stream. But I haven't got round to reading them yet, probably because now I appear to have mislaid them and I'm not sure where they are. But I mean, they'll turn up there somewhere. I honestly don't know. They might have accidentally got put in the shed because all my other graphic novels got put in the shed. I think they're in the wargaming section in the other room.
But I think ultimately, I think most people know I'll bounce around most people's channels. Come in, pop in, say hello, and chew the fat, as it were. And you'll find me in the usual places. If you ever need to have someone to chinwag to over a cup of tea, just give me a shout. Always about.
I'll have to get you on Diabolical there, Tomby.
Legendary.
Yeah. And come on the Nielsen ratings on Tuesday with me and Stepenzo anytime you want. It's 10 o'clock, so it's a bit late for UK, but if you ever want to come on, you're welcome.
No, it's fine by me. Timing's fine.
This is to cheer you up with your dog. Here's a cute puppy that my friends have just posted. Look at that. So this is former sub postmaster Mark Kelly.
Yep.
Who I was at the public inquiry with yesterday for the post office scandal when he gave evidence because he was suffering from PTSD. They let him hold his dog,
Bless.
Gizmo. And I went out with them for a drink after the inquiry yesterday, and I've been talking to him for a couple of years, but it was great to finally meet him in person. He does pop in and watch these streams because he's a bit of a sci-fi nut, and I talk a fair bit of sci-fi. And no doubt I'm going to be doing more with the post office scandal, so which isn't going to go away anytime soon.
Oh, it's definitely not.
No, it's definitely not. Desert saying, talking about graphic novels, how about a stream covering Tank Girl? Do you mean Tank Girl, the comic, or do you mean Tank Girl, Ice-T dressed up as a kangaroo?
I like that movie.
You know what? I like that movie.
It was like Burning Man before Burning Man was cool, you know?
Yeah, Laurie Petty was actually...
Yeah, Laurie Petty.
I love the scene where he sucks all the water out of the guy and drinks it.
Yeah,
so
good. Yeah, I remember when I went to see it, I hadn't really read much Tank Girl. I think I bought a few.
Yeah.
I might have bought one graphic novel out.
One thing I love about the movie...
The comics were good.
I love about the Tank Girl movie is they use a lot of the comics, like for the establishing shots. Instead of showing a cool model of the building, they just show a comic book panel of what the bad guys layer looks like. And it's like, that's awesome. Do more of that stuff. Save money and also showcase the art from the book.
We could do a double bill of Tank Girl and Barbarella. That would be a interesting combo. Because
that was like the last We Watch I did before I got shadow banned.
Before you got shadow banned?
Yeah, I don't know. I was averaging about like 600 to 1,000 views on these We Watches, and then something happened. Now the algorithm I have angered the algorithm gods.
Well, there you go. So Stepenzo, tell us about the 20 streams you've got coming up next week.
I don't know. I just got off of Starship Troopers. I did Dream Scenario yesterday on Northern English Bastards channel, which was fun.
That's a good film.
We broke that down pretty well. And then tomorrow, I guess I will be showing up on Lance's channel and also actually Andrew's thing. I'll be double dipping tomorrow too. And then Monday, I'm going to be double dipping too. Leon's going to have me on at 3 p.m. on his channel. Words of Paradise. Sorry. And Bolt the Word is what I try to say.
I know.
And then, I'll probably do a show on my channel late night that night. And then Wednesday, Scene Invaders will have me on the first time there. And also I'll be debuting a We Watch of a gnome named Norm. And this will be the first time that we don't have the tunnel audio on these guests. So I'm excited. It was a whole new year. I'm also going to update the overlay and the graphics and stuff right now after this is over, this stream right now.
Yeah.
So I got a day of editing ahead of me.
Don't forget, you've also got a very important pie chart to create.
Of course. I got a lot of graphics.
Here's another cute dog.
Oh, Beethoven.
Yeah. No, that's mine. That's my puppy. That's my puppy.
Is that a kind of St. Bernard variant?
It's a Bernese Mountain Dog. It's one of the Greater Swiss. So yeah, I
always wanted a St. Bernard because they're like ginormous and cuddly.
Oh, she's huge. She's 70 kilos of puppy.
God,
I mean, she's coming up to 4 years old now, and basically she had ruptured a cruciate ligament throughout her in her rear leg. So she had to have basically the bone sawn and some plates put in to put the stability back in. But it's very common with giant breeds anyway.
But I had a 100-pound German Shepherd Chow mix, and his hips started giving out in his old age.
Yeah, she's
I
downstairs.
really want to get a dog, man.
Yep.
I feel like I should. But the cost, it's the cost.
Well, I had 2 dogs for over 10 years, and then now I got 2 cats, and it's way chiller. But I guess they'll be around for 20 years sometimes. A cat.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dog, she's a American Bulldog, so she's big sucky.
Awesome.
Big sucky. Yeah, big sucky.
Yep.
I think we should do a dog stream. Oh man, we could. You know what we could do? We could do a dog movies like K9, Turner and Hooch, What's the one?
Marley and Me.
Marley and
No,
Me.
no.
Yeah, Jay, no. So
Yeah.
sad.
Why don't you just throw an Old Yeller while you're at it?
Old Yeller.
Oh, yeah.
My dog
Lassie.
Skip.
Benji.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Benji was
that's-
fun. There's several
yeah.
Benji movies. We
What was
watched
the,
we actually did a recording of Man's Best Friend with Lance Henriksen. That'll be coming out in a couple weeks. Where the
Hang on,
killer
what you did it? Whoa,
genetic dog.
whoa, slow down, go back. You did a recording with Lance Henriksen?
No, we did a rewatch recording of Man's Best Friend, that Lance Henriksen versus Killer Mutant Dog movie.
Oh, okay.
It was a
Sorry,
good
I
one,
thought you
man.
meant you had Lance Henriksen on. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, man.
God.
You gotta invite me to that.
No.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Yeah.
Let's make fun of your own movie, Lance. That'd be amazing.
Sure.
Do you mean my one in Greece?
Oh no, I was talking about Lance Henriksen, Lance.
Oh, not mine.
Yeah, sorry. Bring Lance on.
My movie is an old movie now. Who remembers this TV show? Hold on. Oh, I've totally forgot that it had a helicopter in the opening.
Littlest Lobo? Are you going to put that one up?
Yeah. How did you know?
I
There's a place where I belong.
It's filmed in Canada.
Trivia.
And this show is basically the Incredible Hulk TV show with David Banner, except it's a dog. I'm a dog.
Except it's a dog.
Yeah.
I travel from place to place, get involved in adventures. Clearly, I get to ride in helicopters and shit. And
this was always on.
Children.
This was always on in the UK as kids.
Yeah,
it was made in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always on.
Oh, that theme tune, you know. How could you forget it? I wonder how many different dogs they used on that show. I'm curious now. Let's find out before we.
Yeah, let's find out.
I feel it's crucial for us to know this before we.
35.
35? That's not true. Can't be 35. So,
I've got 5. 5 in total.
Canadian television series written and conceived by the Gooch. Didn't know you were that old, man.
Yeah.
1963 to 65. God, I mean, it was shown in like the early 80s in UK. I seem to recall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
That was in the 60s.
They used to show it.
That.
They used to show that, and they used to show the Red Hand Gang. You know, no, that's Little House on the Prairie, but yeah, the
That
Red
used to
Hand
be on
Gang.
after, didn't it? Little House on the Prairie used to be on afterwards. Channel 4.
Yeah, that was always on around like 5:15. There's an episode of Little House on the Prairie. I mean, we're changing gears slightly now. That I found proper disturbing as a kid, and one of the daughters dies, and
Yes.
the father gets so upset, and it's it's got a lot of religious themes, and of course it has because he's in it, and he builds this massive cross with all these rocks and mud. It's a bit like the Close Encounters volcano thing, you know. He goes a bit nuts and he builds this massive thing, and he's like, why have you forsaken us? And it gets like struck with lightning. And then that episode sort of ends with Dad and the girl's like suddenly alive, and it's like the hand of God has reached out and saved her. And I was like, what's going on? You know, this show's normally doesn't have this shit in it. Oh man, that
was Michael Landon.
Michael Landon.
The highway. What was it? Highway to Heaven.
Yeah,
Highway to yeah, because he's the angel, isn't he?
I was a teenage werewolf.
Yeah. The Littlest Hobo actually had two seasons. It had a 63-65 and a 79-85 series. That must have been the one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was like,
it didn't look like dated.
Those graphics don't look 60s.
No,
yeah.
They don't. And featured various actors in it, including Michael Ironside. DeForest Kelly was in it.
And Michael Myers. Michael
Yeah.
Myers was in it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Sammy Cinders. Do you remember that? That was another one. Huckleberry Finn and Friends.
Huckleberry Finn.
Down
I
by
didn't
the
know Michael
river,
Ironside
wet
was
in
Canadian
the
until
river.
earlier today on the
Yeah.
Starship
Yeah.
Super stream.
Yeah. He was in what is it? Scanners.
Yeah, I love him in Scanners.
Yeah, that's right.
I love. He's in a Hallmark movie I watched recently that wasn't bad. It's called Pumpkin Everything, and he plays the curmudgeon old father. It's so fun. I was like, Michael Ironside, what are you doing here? Oh my god.
That would be a good stream. Top 5 curmudgeons in movies. The top 5 grumpiest men characters.
Yeah. We did a curmudgeon stream on my show.
Over the age of 60. You know. So Tommy, you could appear on that playing yourself.
Walter Matthau has to be on top in there.
Oh right. Yeah.
Mr. Wilson.
Sure. Yeah. So where did you get 5 dogs from for the info on this?
Yeah, I put the link into chat for you, into private chat.
Yeah, because I'm looking on the Wikipedia page, but the info on kind of how we filmed with dogs seems to be fairly limited. Chuck P.
Is it actually 5 dogs?
Yeah, according to this link, how many there were how many littlest hobos? And
it's funny, we've got 8 people watching us now who might be Hey, when are they talking about the Northern Limit line? And we're talking about the
hobos now.
Curmudgeons and dogs and little house.
We're up to 9 watchers. Up to 9
people who have just arrived. We have been talking about the Northern Limit line for 90 minutes.
I'm jamming.
Please go back to the beginning of the stream.
Littlest hobo right now in my headphones.
Yeah, I've got it. Okay, so this is it was a family of dogs, I'm guessing, and they used these are the stars of the show.
Stupenzo, are you listening to the theme tune? No,
yeah,
really?
Yeah,
it's right.
It's so
okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it as well.
That little is that a theremin I'm hearing? It's like I like it.
So, oh dear! I put a spelling error into shit. Don't really want to Google that.
5 little stuff, but if these are all in one picture, these must have been from the 60s season. It can't be the same dogs in the 79.
Yeah. But whatever you do, don't look up how many dogs and cats they used for the film Milo and Otis. You will be shocked.
Right. Why? Did several meet with on-set accidents or something?
Honestly, it was one letter, one single fucking letter I got wrong.
Right.
I definitely don't freaking Google that.
I was gonna make a comment. Don't type it, and then
you did it. You willed it into being.
Adam Gray is here. We can't talk about weird Little House episodes. I mean, actually, do you know what? We should do a stream on Little House versus the Waltons. That'd be a good. The entire Ingalls family line died out. I think they made it as far as a grandkid or 2, but all died, leaving no descendants. How do you know this? Where does this information come from about the lineage of the fictional family and the fictional show? Is there a extended fan information page? Kind of. Did anybody remember that episode that I talked about with the cross?
Yes, I do. I remember. Yeah, I remember that. I think it was the older sister, wasn't it? The one that went blind. She went blind.
That we all found very confusing whenever she came into a scene, and we wondered what was happening with our genitalia.
I had no problem with that. You know what I've been watching? She was actually on Love Boat. I've been watching all the Love Boats all over again.
Do you remember the South Park the Catholic Boat?
Oh my god!
Featuring young boy number 3, and
then it cuts to like Stan's dad in church who's having this daydream. He's like,
yeah, that was really good.
That's the 70s and 80s had great television in the 70s and 80s. That's why when you had me on for the quiz, I was just like, and no one knew the A-Team. I'm like, how do they not know the A-Team? I'm like, that is like the most epic intro ever.
Yeah, man. I thought anyone would get that, but
now I know next year to brush up on all my 70s, 60s.
I'm doing it right now. I've been doing it all right now. Secretly, I've been sitting back and just watching all the 70s.
It's not going to be the same.
I'm going to be the whiz. I'm the whiz.
It's not going to be the same.
In fact, Lance, are you going to have a single contribution to the quiz winner? That'd be a good one. So that'd be the individual challenge.
Yeah, I might do something like that. I mean, I know Dark Hour's doing a kind of one-on-one thing. I'm supposed to participate in the first one, although I was completely confused about exactly when that was supposed to take place. But I don't know. Yeah, I might do. I've got some. I'm going to be going through all my film paraphernalia. I'm probably going to sell some pretty cool film posters in order to keep the heating on, because I'm just waiting for that big bill to arrive, and then I'll be doing another live stream with British Gas Customer Services in South Africa again. Getting back to the off-topic topic, which is nothing to do with the Northern Limit Line. Sorry, I'm quite enjoying this now, so I'm going to hang on for a bit. This is the girl concerned. Lance Kerwin, who was in Salem's Lot, was an absolutely phenomenal actor. Everything I saw him in, I thought he was great, and he passed away. I did a dedication to him on the channel a couple of years ago. I was so shocked, and he was somebody that I think I'd reached out to on Facebook only a few weeks before for an interview, and he must have already been in hospital or whatever. This isn't actually Little House on the Prairie. This is a TV film called James at 15. But isn't that the same actress?
Yeah, I dated a girl that looked very similar to her.
What's the name of the actress that played the older sister who confused us all? Was it this girl, Melissa Sue Anderson? Is that the one? Because didn't she end up blind at one point?
Yeah, she was blind. She had her husband. He was the blonde guy. He was like, I think he worked in the mill or something, and she got caught in a fire. And
so there was her. There was Melissa Gilbert.
Yeah,
who ended up marrying Bruce Boxleiter, and then there was the little girl that always fell over running down there.
Well, there was also Gilbert, the little dark-haired boy. He was in there. I can't remember if he got adopted or he was part of the Merle Olsen family. I can't remember.
I know that there's Little House on the Prairie conventions, just like there's Walton conventions. And all of that kind of thing. Oh man!
I remember she got her eyesight back because she was traveling. Yeah. She was traveling to go to college, and and then she got her eyesight, and it was like I remember like my mom was all excited for that. She watched that show religiously. She loved it.
It ran for 9 seasons and had 3 movies from 74 to 83. I mean, you'd never get a show running that long these days.
No.
Yeah, MASH was another one.
MASH, yeah.
Talking about Korea, the MASH.
Alan Alda, man, I saw him on stage in our town with Robert Sean Leonard playing the younger character, the one who loses his wife. And I'll never forget the beginning of the play. He came out and he stood on stage in the middle of the stage before the lights went down for ages while people were still coming in and taking their seats, and he was sort of like pointing and waving at people. It was a nuts opening. I thought, what's he doing? And then when he went into the opening monologue, they added a thing in it, and he went, he started talking about Grosvenor's Corner and all that, if you're familiar with the play. And then he went, and for those of you who want some scenery, here's some scenery. And these 2 like pot plants came down on wires and just hung there for the rest of the play. And that was all the scenery that they had. So they decided to sort of make this joke about the fact that they had no set. I think there might have been some chairs now and then or whatever, but basically there was like no set apart from these 2 things hanging from the.
I got a question for you, Lance. Like, you're a sci-fi guy. Have you done a review of like the old Battlestar Galactica at all?
I've got the movie. I think it's in the other room now, but I just bought it on Blu-ray, and I was a bit disappointed that it didn't have tons of extras. but I've got a bit of a soft spot for the original Battlestar Galactica.
You talk about having funny feelings when you're a kid, when you're watching what's her name in that show, in Battlestar Galactica.
Well, I haven't talked about it, but I feel like you're going to. Please jump in.
Well, no, I remember watching it as a kid because there was the little robot Twinkie. I think it was Twinkie, right?
There's the kid from Neverending Story, Noah Taylor. He has a dog, but they call him Daggets, in just like they use the word frack for something else in Battlestar Galactica world. And his dog gets killed during the Cylon invasion, and then he gets a robot Daggett.
Yeah,
that's actually a person. But sorry, you were leaning towards some kind of female.
Well, the lead actress, I can never remember. She went on the Silver Spoons after. I can never remember her name.
There was the blonde one who was the party girl that I think was Starbucks love interest, and then there was the dark-haired one who was also a pilot.
The Connie was that Connie Selica? No, that wouldn't have been.
I wasn't into either of them, but I did have a crush on someone in Battlestar Galactica. Can you guess who it was?
I'm trying to think. No, I can't.
I will show you. Seeing as we're talking about Northern Limit Line, Battlestar Galactica, Little House on the Prairie, Littlest Hobo, combination string, because they're also
Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd.
I mean, let's have a look and just see. This is like Tuesday night now. It's kind of gone a bit strange. Oh man, it's Saturday. I'm not doing anything. There's the Daggett in question. Now it's not a well-known fact, but that's actually Enzo in the dog costume. Richard Hatch borrowed my mountain rucksack for that shot. There's so much I love about this series. I like the fact that it was.
That's
Jane Seymour in the movie.
Yeah,
in the movie.
She's still hot.
At her absolute hottest. That's the girl.
Lawn Green.
That's the girl I fancied on the left, Maren Jensen, who was in the bridge. She was always in the bridge and had the headset on. And in that dark command bridge, which was like the sort of bridge on a aircraft carrier. I liked all of that. Such a shame that Richard Hatch is no longer with us, man. Especially as Starbucks smoked all the cigars, But
she was Athena, wasn't she?
Yeah. That's right. But Maren Jensen was just like one of the. She had a very small role, but she was an American model. Not that I googled at some point, but I might have done
many times.
I may have googled at some stage. But you're talking. You weren't talking about Jane Seymour, though, were you? You were talking about the actress that kind of played that role for the TV show or the TV series. Would that be right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember who that was. There's Britt Eklund. Forgot that she did an episode. I
Erin Gray. I thought she was on that show.
Erin Gray was on Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers. That's what I'm thinking of. Buck Rogers. Sorry.
If you've seen a recent picture of her, she's Erin Very Gray now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. It was worth staying on for a bit longer because RRTNZ has sent me a super chat. Hey, Lance, going to talk to my uncle who worked for Royal Post in Hounslow about the scandal. Enzo, apologies for leaving you out.
I assumed $5 can only get you so many.
It does.
I know, no hard feelings, man.
But
love you, Richard.
How is it that you mentioned him? But you're mentioning him saying you've left him out.
Oh, he's talking about the Starship Troopers stream. Yeah, he listed off everyone except me, and I was like, "Oh, ouch! I'm sorry."
Oh man, not enough character.
I hope you're not upset at me, RT.
Maren Jensen was in a Wes Craven horror movie with Ernest Borgnine and Sharon Stone. I don't know that one. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone?
No.
There's the Mangler. Is that the Wes Craven one you're thinking of?
But
that's not Sharon Stone.
Buck Rogers is what I'm talking about. That had Twiggy in it, or Twiggy, or was it Twiggy?
Oh,
yeah, Twiggy.
Yeah,
this is a movie called Deadly Blessing. He's talking about
Deadly Blessing. I'm not sure I've seen that.
No, never heard of it. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not sure I've seen that.
I love me some 1981 horror movies, man.
Yeah, here we go. This is a good shot of the Lance love interest. There we are. I'm talking about Dirk Benedict, of course.
Face from 18.
Yeah, I mean, and the only face. None of this Bradley Cooper crap. Oh, look at that. There's me and Enzo in our first child acting roles. Actually,
I've little Yoda helmets.
I'll tell you what, the kid on the right, I'm pretty sure that's one of the sons from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's one of Richard Dreyfuss's sons. I think on the right. I think that's him.
Oh.
Yeah, and that would be the right age because 78. So anyway, right, okay. Well, we've gone down a few rabbit holes there. Let's stay on until we can identify this Little House on the Prairie episode. That'll take about 2 hours. All kinds of characters popping up in the chat now. Guys, you missed the meat of the show, but you can always go back and watch it. Okay, before we go, I'm going to ask each of my guests, although because Enzo's only 22, this may not apply to him.
I'm 38.
What would be your favorite TV show prior to 1984? Something you always religiously had to watch.
Ooh.
It was on, you got to watch it. No matter what mum and dad say, you're eating your dinner in front of the TV if needs be. But,
prior to 1984.
Yeah, let's go pre-84. Yeah,
something that I would watch. Something that I would always watch religiously.
Oh, yeah,
I know.
How old do you think I am, you bastard?
Lift your head up.
I have a good answer.
Tom Bowley booze coming out your mouth. There you go.
Yeah. How old do you think I am?
Well, I think you were born before 84.
Just.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies.
Yeah, I remember cartoons. I remember that. I would
always watch the.
You get like 3 of them. You get like 3 cartoons. There'd always be a Bugs Bunny one.
Right.
Yep.
And sometimes
Roadrunner. Also, I love Tom and Jerry and all that stuff. But other good one is the Three Stooges. When that was on when we were a kid, Three Stooges and Laurel and Hardy movies. Like I watched those all the time as a kid. I loved them.
Sorry, Tomby, I'll correct it for you. What show prior to 1969?
Mate.
No, go pre-88 then, if you want. Gooch, what you got?
That's tough because ABC used to have Tuesday nights where they'd have Happy Days. Then it would lead into Three's Company. And then that would lead into something else that was really good. So Tuesday nights were really good. Friday nights were really good on CBS with Dukes of Hazzard. A-Team.
A-Team was on that. That started in 83.
Yeah.
I think for like the 70s and 80s, I liked Mork and Mindy and Taxi a lot.
Yeah,
those were fun.
I'll never forget the day Dukes of Hazzard debuted because the next day everybody was playing Dukes of Hazzard at school, and there was like a big it's like role playing, isn't it? You know, kids are, I'm going to be so and so, and I'm going to be so and so, and for some reason I got stuck playing Guta in this game, and everybody was going around pretending to drive cars and going da 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 like that, you know, all the time. It was nuts.
See, for me, it was tough because like it was before VHS, right?
VHS came out around 81, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, like before you could like really on the regular rent movies and stuff like that, like prior to
the rental boom was sort of 83 onwards. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying before that, if you didn't see it in the theater, Sunday night. It was like World of Disney, and then it was your Sunday night movie.
You know, World of Disney in Technicolor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
It was
that
for me. It was like the Sunday night movies on. Like my dad, I watched Rocky for the first time on that. There, The Warriors, Amityville Horror.
Yeah, but what about your TV shows? Not so much movies.
Oh, there's lots to pick from. Like Hawaii Five-0 was great.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones my parents let me stay up for. That The Professionals, and sure, Tommy, you must have watched The Professionals, man. Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean Professionals. But the thing is that at that point in time, so I was born late '79.
Right.
So for us going into the 80s, we were hopping around the country a lot because the old man was in the armed forces. So it wasn't until we got to Gibraltar that we really started seeing VHS TV and everything come into the mix. And for me, at that point in time, if it wasn't A-Team, Knight Rider, and things like that, then I just really wasn't interested. I was that age, at 7, 8 years old. A-Team was perfect. Knight Rider was perfect.
Are you guys familiar with my American guests I'm talking about here? Are you guys familiar with the show called The Professionals?
Vaguely.
It's amazing.
I'm probably going to get moaned at copyright shit again, but I don't care.
No, doesn't matter.
I mean, I can edit it out. This is the opening title sequence for The Professionals. I mean, you guys are probably not going to be able to hear it, but it's so cool. Like, you know, car goes through plate glass window.
Oh, all right, I'm sold.
Yeah, and you know, it's very, very and each kind of character is introduced. There's Gordon Jackson from The Great Escape, as some people may know him, and then Lewis Collins, who hadn't really gone to one of the big drama schools and took over from, I think it was Anthony Andrews or someone that dropped out. I forget now. He was like the one that everyone's mum fancied, you know. You know what? We need to do a Professionals stream, Tomby.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't believe Lewis Collins has died as well, man. Yeah, that was a real shame. And he moved to California, and then he ended up kind of like doing something with computers or something. He sort of dropped out of the industry. But cool. We should change the name of this show to Northern Limit Line meets Down the Rabbit Hole. And Retro's stream on Journey to the Center of the Earth is still going. Good for her.
Whoa, nice.
All right, cool. So Enzo, the bad news is I've got about another 20 things now I've thought of that.
Yeah, it's okay. The bad news is I was foolish and decided to eat one of these Zap spicy craw-tater chips, and I haven't been able to stop eating them. I haven't been able to stop eating them since I stopped.
Hold that up again so we can see that. Get it closer to the camera a bit.
You guys ever know Zap's?
Spicy
craw-taters.
Craw-taters.
Yeah, they basically have like a crawfish, like southern. You know, we have crawfish boils. It's like a langoustine, but for freshwater.
Craw-taters? What's craw-taters? That's Gollum. Sorry, saying that.
Crawdaddies. No, but like I said, I came in here and ate one chip, and I have been like sneakily like putting chips in my mouth this whole 2 hours.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you ate one chip and you've been sneakily letting rip like ever since.
Oh no, Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels. That's the one I would.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the
dirty boy.
Yeah, I used to really fancy Kate Jackson in that. Like, everybody else fancied like Farrah Fawcett, but I really fancied Kate Jackson. I think it's because she looked a bit like my mum, but glamorous, you know. So that was a cool show. I don't know about you guys, but we're going to go for another 20 minutes now. Don't know about you guys, but I hated the movie, the remake movie.
Oh, me too. I hated it.
It was just like, what I wish they'd done is they had set it in the 70s and no CGI, all practical, and just made it really deliberately cheesy. And I think as a sort of pastiche homage in a kind of Austin Powers-esque type way, that would have worked. We still didn't need it, but that could have worked and been quite fun.
That's another one. Fall Guy. I never missed Fall Guy. I love Fall Guy.
I loved Fall Guy.
Yeah.
I always remember the episode where the guy's got the microlight and he's bombing the convoy, chucking grenades down. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't remember that one.
That was on Friday night. We had that and Dallas together.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I ended up starting watching Dallas, because I think it was on like right after the Fall Guy. And I was like, oh, well, I'm in now, so I might as well, you know. All right. Okay. Well, guys, yeah, we're over 2 hours. Time to wrap up. Rest my voice because I've got a big stream tomorrow.
Yeah, you
if
do,
you want to find
Mr.
out what everybody's
3000.
got coming up, if you want to find out what everyone's got coming up, go back about 45 minutes.
Yeah,
because we've done that bit already. Just because we were
dude,
finishing.
we're
the
gonna start
stream.
calling you Lancinator 3000.
Yeah,
Lance 3K.
Yeah, but it's good to hit 3K. God, I worked so hard to get that, and I'm pretty sure without a couple of big hitters giving me a plug, it would have, I'd still probably be at 2. But which was really helpful. But I'm just loving doing YouTube. But the sad news is, however, if my play goes on a tour, which I will not only be in it, but I'll be directing it, co-producing it, etc., etc., etc. There will be a period where I will not be streaming, at least not regularly. And I think we would probably do, I don't know how many venues we'll do and all that kind of thing. It won't be like months on end, but there'll definitely be a period where I'll have to cut down streams, but that won't be till the summer. And, that's when the sun's out and the days are long. So people are going to want to go out and spend less time watching YouTube anyway. So it'll be well timed. Good. All right. Just remains me to say thank you to my guests, Stupenzo, Tombi, the real Tombalolo, and Gooch, the massive Gooch Muncher. I will see some of you back on the Nielsen ratings, 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. East Coast on Tuesday. But don't forget, tomorrow is my celebration of 3,000 sub stream, 8:30 p.m. UK time, 3:30 p.m. East Coast. It should have been like this, really. We're just going to be talking bollocks for several hours. So we'll probably pick up Little House on the Prairie, and
$6 Million Man. That's another one.
We'll talk about $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
Stan Fine, if you watch Stan Fine's channel, it's a really good channel. He does such good videos. He's done a brilliant breakdown of the $6 Million Man.
Ooh,
definitely check out his channel.
Yeah.
He doesn't need me plugging him. He's got major subscribers, but he does, and he's really funny. He's an Australian guy, very, very dry humor. He does a lot of video reviews. He only does video reviews. He doesn't do live streams of old shows and older movies. And he just did his last one. I'm gonna go for another 5 minutes now. His last one.
We're never. This is the stream that never ends.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention this is a 24-hour stream. His last one was Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country. I mean, he's got 53,000 subs.
Ooh, wow.
He's he's been going for about 3-4 years. I just really like his channel. I think it's great. That's his review of Undiscovered Country. Check it out. I think you'd be hard pushed not to enjoy his videos. I always like sticking them on when I watch my lunch. His reviews are normally around 20 minutes. But if he's doing a big show, big TV show, sometimes they're like 45, 50-minute videos. All right. On that note, we are definitely going now. Thanks very much. Thanks to chat popping in. It's nice that we got more people towards the end. If you do actually want to see what we said about Northern Limit Line, if you go back about 7 hours, 2 hours, you'll see everything we had to say. Until tomorrow night, we will see you all again real soon. Bye.
Bye.